Before we get lost in the ones and zeros of reverse engineering, let's talk about some motivations. Why would we want to be a reverse engineer in the first place? There are really a lot of reasons why someone would want to become a reverse engineer. These are just a few that came to the top of my list. There's a lot of great career opportunities that involve the use of reverse engineering skills. Some of them very directly, such as a malware analyst, and some of them maybe a little less directly, such as a security engineer or architect. The titles don't really matter at this point. Understanding how to reverse engineer is not just about the tools and the techniques, but also a way of thinking. To be able to take a problem, break it down into its components, and then figure out a solution. These are skills that anyone can benefit from. It is necessary for some careers. For example, as a malware analyst, I would be very limited in what I could do if I didn't have the ability and the understanding of the reverse engineering process. This has enabled me to be a more effective malware analyst. In this course, we'll be talking about the internals of an operating system, CPU architecture, and virtual memory, just to name a few. This gives you a deeper understanding of how programs are not just created, not just how to write them and their syntax, but how they're executed by the operating system, and the gray area that attackers often leverage in order to exploit vulnerabilities within these systems themselves. This is also a very technically challenging and equally demanding career field, one that presents almost limitless opportunities to challenge yourself and continue to learn. While this can at times seem a little frustrating, it's also very exciting, because you know that at the end of the day, no matter how much you've learned, there's always more. Reversing also gives you better insight into how attackers work. The ability to reverse engineer how malware works shows you how they attacked your systems in the first place. This, in turn, you can leverage in order to better defend them. And finally, it does take you down the path of adversarial thinking, which is oftentimes necessary in order to be effective with your defensive capabilities. You have to understand how those attackers are leveraging those gray areas within programs, operating system, and hardware in order to exploit vulnerabilities. So with these motivations, it's worth pointing out some career paths that this could take you down. This is by no means an exhaustive list, but just to give you some ideas of where I think reverse engineering skills play a crucial role. The first is with an incident responder, in which you have to understand how to recover significant digital artifacts after a breach or a compromise by a malicious actor. A malware analyst, whose role is to reverse the code used in an attack by a malicious actor, and then to present the impact that code had. A penetration tester, who can use this knowledge in order to be more effective at breaching systems, to identify vulnerabilities, ultimately making their customers stronger, to perform vulnerability research itself, to look at software and find bugs, to determine if those bugs could be exploited, and then to help organizations to patch those bugs before they get publicly known and used by malicious actors. And finally, a software developer, understanding how code can be attacked and reversed can help an individual or an organization make stronger code. For many, reverse engineering isn't a skill that comes overnight. It takes time, patience, and practice. I'm excited that you're going to take this first step in reverse engineering with me in this course. I hope you are as excited as well. Let's get started.